everyone. Hey, family. Hey, children. Hey, wife. Of course, you know, my name is Brandon Johnson, according to my birth certificate, according to my marriage license, you know. And, you know, I'm here in my chair, you know, disabled, all of that, you know. And I wanted to say that I love you all. Believe me, I do. I am not a threat to myself or others, and I love saving them children like when Yadriel was sick and I took him to the hospital. And I love saving Trinity's life when that girl was finna drink that alcohol and I took that bottle of wine from her and said no. And I love saving Lord Gerald's life, you know, when that baby was finna push him out the bed and then I stopped them. And I love, you know, being the type of person, you know, I care about children, and I love the way that when it's raining outside, I don't use it as an excuse to have sex with somebody else and stuff like that or whatever. I'm just here being disabled, you know, thinking about the family and the children and all that love, you know. And I love being faithful in my marriage, and I love my wife. You know, I love God because, you know, only God could be the reason why after all of that dirt on my face and all that stuff, you know, why my skin still looks like this and why I'm able to see the way I can see. So, you know, this is a Brandon Johnson, according to my marriage license, you know. It's what it says, a Brandon, you know. And, you know, the birth certificate, it says a Brandon, you know. And, it seems that someone would have some explaining to do. You know, a lot of people would have some explaining to do, you know, because, like, as you can see, you know, ever since the year of 2006, there is evidence, you know, what the devil meant for your bad ends up being for your good, Brandon, you know, because when they say they start a family court case and say children are in need of supervision, and people say, ha, 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 look at him. He's crazy. He looks like a fool. He doesn't have his kids. His wife is not here. He's just a loser. Look at him in the street with all of that dirt on his face. Look at him. He's just disabled on Social Security. You know, when they say all of that about you, Brandon, you know, when they say all of that about, you know, people, you know, what's about the truth, the holy truth, and nothing but the truth in a court of law, you know, the high court of God, the lower court of man, when there's nowhere to run and there's nowhere to hide from the truth, you know. So when they say that, you know, so you mean to tell me that a Brandon Johnson saved a child's life? A Brandon Johnson was holding a baby in his arms, and the baby was dying from sudden infant death syndrome and failure to thrive, according to the family court of Jefferson County. And the ambulance did not take the child to the hospital. The family did not take the child to the hospital. The Jefferson County Family Court did not take the child to the hospital. Child Services did not take the child to the hospital. But it was a Brandon that used the money that a Brandon had to take the child to the hospital. because a Brandon cares about children more than having sex, more than having money, more than having a job, more than having a career, more than having his own business, more than seeing what other girls' vagina feels like and seeing what it would look like to have a child with different people of different colors, more than just an experiment at the risk of someone else's life. So you mean to tell me a Brandon saved a child's life without using a war as an excuse to kill or murder somebody? You know, a real hero, the type of person that can say he saved a life without killing another person. Because, you know, they say if you go to war and you have to kill somebody to say you saved somebody, how you gonna say you saved somebody if you had to kill somebody in order to save somebody? Yeah. You can't be a murderer and a savior at the same time is what they tell me. You know, for all of you war crime murderers out there. Did you get your Purple Heart for your murder? You know, this way they asked. They say a Brandon is different. A Brandon knows how to save a child's life without murdering anyone. A Brandon never shot anyone with a gun and saved a child's life. A Brendan did not shoot Yatrell's mom with a gun. A Brendan did not kill Yatrell's mom or Yatrell, and a Brendan saved Yatrell's life. I never saw any war hero do that. You know, that way. For your rank. You know, they say a Brendan saved Lord Gerald's life when Lord Gerald was being pushed out of the bed by his brother, is what they say it was. And a Brendan did not kill the brother or the child or the mom. I never saw any war hero do that. I never saw any war hero save a child's life without being part of a group of people that murdered people. You know, I never joined any group of murderers. I'm not a member of any group, you know. I believe in God, and I believe all religions are telling the truth about something. And they say there's a word for that, and it's called eclectic. But there is no actual church building, you know, called the eclectic church of whatever. It's just a belief. Believing in God. So a Brendan saved Yatrell's life during October of 2006 when the child was failing to thrive. And unlike those so-called war heroes out there, he didn't have to use a gun or kill anybody or use any bombs to save a life. So when it's about being saved, there was no reason for any of the weapons or the guns or any of that stuff, because you either saved somebody's life without killing a person, or you tried to justify murdering somebody by saying you saved somebody. Yeah, that way. So you mean to tell me a Brendan saved Lord Gerald's life from being pushed out of the bed by another child, and a Brendan did not stab Lord Gerald with a knife? A Brendan did not shoot Lord Gerald with a gun, because a Brendan never stabbed anyone with a knife, and a Brendan never shot anyone with a gun, you know, those types of situations. Even though as a child they gave us toy guns to play with, and they gave us cap guns and little Nerf guns and water guns, but you know the kind of guns I'm talking about. And when a girl had a gun, a Brendan told a girl, take that gun back to the store, the pawn shop, wherever you can take it to, and give it back to those people, because there is no need for a weapon or a gun or for you to be trying to kill or murder anyone, because you wouldn't want the blood on your hand and the bad karma that comes with those situations. So you mean to tell me that a Brendan saved Trinity from being poisoned by alcohol before she was born, because when, you know, The girl was trying to drink wine. Brendan took the bottle of wine from the girl and said, no, you don't want to hurt yourself with that alcohol, and you don't want to hurt the child with that alcohol. Because if you drink that wine and the child dies or gets sick, you would be guilty of murdering the child, and you would hurt the child. And Brendan did not murder anyone to do it. Wow. You know, this is what I heard someone say before. Wow. So I am married, right? And I was abused. But it's strange. If a hero is a person that saves children's lives and saves people's lives, you know, just because I did not murder anybody, just because I did not kill anybody, it's funny when people call themselves veterans and war heroes and they brag on murdering people. If your legs got torn off because you was part of a group of people that murdered people, you are not a hero. You killed people and were a part of a group of people that killed other people. You're not a hero. A real hero is a person that did not have to kill someone. So when you see my leg abused and the scars on my body, those are scars that came from a person that did not abuse anyone, and I saved children's lives. And I did not have sex with other people or children, whether it was before or after I got my marriage certificate. Because any of the sexual abuse or contact that was had with me, I was told it was my wife, and I was told it was molestation before and after my marriage license, because when I went to the clinic at River Edge, they told me, the people that said they were your family and your brothers and all of that, since I was the youngest person in the family that they had me in, they were not supposed to sexually touch me. They were not supposed to sexually abuse me. They were not supposed to have a sexual relationship with me at all. So they did wrong, not me. So I was told that I did not do anything wrong. And for all of the abuse after, you know, my marriage certificate, you know, because once it was made known, April 30th of 2004, a marriage certificate, any of the people that, you know, tried to disrespect my marriage, you know, because as the head of the household, you know, they said the person, myself, I was supposed to be the one deciding one child, and they wanted me to have more than one child. They were like, who is they? They kept asking me that at River Edge. Who is they? Who is they? Your marriage license does not say they. They were not supposed to tell you to have more than one child. They were not supposed to tell you what to do with your own body and your own person. You know, at River Edge, that lady kept saying, who is they? Who are they to tell you or Brandon Johnson what to do? They brag on being war heroes and all of that stuff. Did they save a child without having sex with a child? Did they save a child without murdering and dropping bombs and using guns on people? Because Brandon Johnson saved a child without having sex with children. Or Brandon Johnson saved a child without going from house to house and place to place trying to see what other people's sex feel like, and then, making excuses for different baby mamas and baby daddies. You didn't have to have sex. Brandon Johnson hasn't had sex in I don't know how long. And I'm not complaining. I'm just telling the truth, you know, that way. Oh, I had to have sex. I just had to have sex. I just had to see what they sex feel like. Now I'm a baby mama and I'm a baby daddy and it's somebody else's fault. You know, stuff like that. You didn't have to feel what their six felt like. Brendan did not. And it was like, where is your thank you, Brendan, from those families? From those sisters and those brothers and those mothers and fathers or moms and dads? Where is your thank you, Brendan? Not you saying thank you, Brendan, but them telling you thank you. That when you went to their house, you didn't have sex with their sisters and your brothers. Thank you, Brandon, for not having sex with their sisters and their brothers. Thank you, Brandon, for not making their sisters and brothers single moms and single dads or whatever, you know. Thank you, Brandon, for when, you know, you was disrespected your whole entire marriage because you didn't want to look like a deadbeat dad and you said you only wanted one child because you was already disabled before you got married and you didn't want to be carrying 3 children around. You didn't even want to be carrying 2 children around. But somebody disrespected you and did more than what they were supposed to because someone had some kind of strange attraction to the Moors, I heard. And it was not me, of course. So whatever they did, you know, whether it's about karma, whether it's about dharma, whether it's about in a court of law, a court of man, or the high court of God, you know, they talk about the Most High and all of it. Thank you, Brendan, for not growing dreadlocks and making a fake religion and claiming to be Bob Marley and talking about sister wives and polygamy or polygyny or polyandry or making an excuse for more than one husband or more than one wife. Thank you, Brendan, for not being part of the more of the same mess that they did. Now, you know, the question on everyone's mind right now is, hey, Brandon, where's your wife? Wouldn't your wife have something to say about all of this? Because you have a marriage certificate, right? Your wife should be very mad and very angry, right, Brandon? She should be, right? If a person's wife knows that her husband has been molested, abused, and accused ever since he was a child, and he said he only wanted one child, and they tried to say he got 3 children, wouldn't your wife be very mad and angry at somebody, Brandon? Because as a husband, and you made it very clear that you only wanted one child, you know, you made it very clear you was molested and abused and disabled and all of that since you was a child. And everyone knows the role of a husband. You know, you can't cheat. You got to submit. All of that. That doesn't sound like submitting when somebody said more than one child, but I said only one child. That doesn't sound like appreciating the husband, you know, when someone's got to be the mom of Yatrell, Lord, Gerald, and Trinity. And since Brandon was there all 3 times, where is your thank you, Brandon? You know, thank you, Brandon, for being there when Lord Gerald was born. Thank you, Brandon, for being there when Yatrell was born. Thank you, Brandon, for being there when Trinity was born. Thank you for not abusing the children, Brandon. Thank you for not having sex with Yatrell, Brandon. Thank you for not having sex with Lord Gerald, Brandon. Thank you for not having sex with Trinity, Brandon. Where are the moms of those children? You know, this Women's Month. You know, August 9th, 2015, Women's Day. You know, August, Women's Month. Where are the moms of Yatrell, Lord Gerald, and Trinity? Where is the thank you for all of your heroic actions and behaviors, Brandon? At the age of 38 years old, I'm almost 40 years old, and I don't have any victims. I didn't use a war as an excuse. I didn't use mental health or being abused as an excuse. I just did not kill anybody. I just did not murder anybody. I just did not have sex with underage children. You know, I didn't say, but she was gone for a long time and I didn't know what to do. So, I went somewhere else and the lady said that she pregnant now and that, I didn't know what else to do. The Bible says all have sinned and fell short of the glory of God. And, they told me to focus on Jesus. It said even Jesus was tempted and caught with a prostitute. But when you're talking about it's not worth my soul, it's not worth your soul, it's not worth the children's soul, it's not worth my wife's soul, it's not worth anyone's soul. Because when you create another child and it's making another soul, you don't want those bad soul ties. It's the way it was explained to me. I don't want to be around anyone's underage children. I don't want to be accused of molesting or soliciting or trying to have sex with an underage child. So, when you see me by myself or when you've seen me with my wife or, a person claimed to be my wife, I really don't even know what's going on with those type of situations because me as myself, I'm not associated or in a relationship of a sexual type of energy with underage children. No. And it's for those reasons, that if anyone wanted to know is that, I try to keep my distance and follow the rules of social distancing. I don't want a child saying that I molested them. I don't want a child saying that I abused them. I don't want a child saying that I disrespected them. So, I just stay away. And Trinity told me that, stay away, oh Brandon, stay away, So, I want to thank Trinity for that great advice she gave me. Because if you stay away from underage children, no one can say that you abused or molested them. And maybe that's why the Family Court of Jefferson County made it real clear that, I did not abuse or molest any children. And there's a link in the description and there's phone calls of me calling and checking on the children, from a whole nother state, of course. Staying away, keeping my distance, And they said that, the mom, would have to, file something in court about the children because a Brandon is not a deadbeat dad. And a Brandon said he only wanted one child. So whether it was a twin or a coven or a group of people, whatever they did, the mom of Yatrell would have to explain what her relationship is with a Brandon and what she did. The mom of Lord Gerald would have to explain what her relationship is with a Brandon and what she did. The mom of Trinity would have to explain what her relationship is with a Brandon and what she did. And that they would have to explain why they did what they did because it's not because of a Brandon. It was explained to me that the mom of Yatrell would have to explain how a Brandon saved Yatrell's life when he was sick in the month of October of 2006. And the mom of Lord Gerald would have to explain how a Brandon saved Lord Gerald's life when they were pushing Lord Gerald out the bed and he was trying to, fight for his life and a Brandon had to save him. And the mom of Trinity would have to explain how a Brandon saved Trinity's life, when that girl was trying to drink that wine and that alcohol out that bottle and stuff like that, And Brandon stopped her from doing it. Because if a man can be treated like a hero and like a god for being a murderer in an army, killing other people and claiming he saved someone's life, then why is a Brandon not even being treated like a husband and a dad and a good guy if he saved someone's children more than one child, more than one occasion, without killing anyone? It's like, do you only celebrate murderers? Some people act like you got to kill somebody in order, to be respected or something. I don't know. I don't understand. It's crazy. I don't get it. So, since it's Women's Month, in honor of August 9th, Women's Day, I was told that, there were some abusive females and some abusive women involved before and after my marriage certificate was made, because they said it was a problem with my address, and it was a problem with their address, And it was like, what is the problem? The problem is they haven't been addressing you the right way, Brandon. They're supposed to say, hey, Brandon, the guy that saved that baby's life in 2006. Hey, Brandon, the guy that saved that baby Lord Gerald's life when that other child tried to push him out the bed. My character. Hey, Brandon, that guy that saved Trinity's life when that girl was trying to have an abortion and drink alcohol and make herself have a miscarriage. Hey, Brandon, the guy that saved Trinity's life. The truth. So yeah, it's like someone's been addressing Brandon the wrong way. And just because you're a mom or a female or you call yourself a mother or, it's no excuse for the abuse of my character of Brandon Johnson, according to my marriage certificate, marriage license, birth certificate, all of that. Because, they was like, hey, you see that guy with the lines on his face? You see that guy right there that be wearing the same clothes every day? He saved a child's life. And then he saved another child's life. And then he saved another child's life. And then he saved another child's life. See, that's 4 times. Did you catch that? He saved a mom's life when she was pregnant. Because he didn't fight her and kill her and beat her up and make her die and make her baby have a miscarriage. So he saved her life and her child's life by not doing it. Then it was like he did it again. When? With Lord Gerald. When they said the girl was already pregnant or whatever and like it was somebody else's baby, he didn't question any of that. He didn't beat the mom up for already being pregnant. He didn't accuse her of already being pregnant, and he didn't beat her up and make her have a miscarriage, and he did not kill the mom or her child. So he did it again when Lord Gerald was born. Was there at the hospital and used his money, his car, and all of that, time, energy, and strength. And it was like, he did it again when Trinity was born with. After being disrespected in his marriage, when he said he only wanted one child, after being abused in his marriage, when he said he only wanted one child, and they made 2 children, he still went to the hospital with Trinity, and was there when she was born. He still did not beat the mom up and make her have a miscarriage. He still did not kill the mom or her child, and he took that wine bottle out of her hand and made sure that she did not hurt the child. So, he did it again, more than one time, for the mom and the child. And they say the children are all teenagers, and, even though they were having sex with children when a Brandon was growing up. He didn't use that as an excuse and say, oh, well, that's what they granddaddy did and they daddy did it and they family did it. It's a family tradition. Even though a Brandon was molested when he was 5 years old and, throughout elementary school and stuff like that, a Brandon did not have sex with Yatrell. A Brandon did not have sex with Lord Gerald. A Brandon did not have sex with Trinity. He didn't say they did it to us, so I can do it to you. A Brandon did not abuse any of the children, So that's funny. And what I mean by funny, I mean it's strange. Because what are the other people's excuse? Some people want to wear a lot of badges and a lot of buttons and a lot of ribbons on their clothes. Bragging on how many people they killed in the war. Talking about, look at him. He ain't got no arm. He was in the war. His arm got blowed off because he was trying to kill somebody else. I guess he got what he deserved. Look at him. He ain't got no legs. His legs got blown off Lieutenant Dan because he was trying to kill somebody else. I guess he got what he deserved. But when a Brandon was not trying to kill anyone else and he was stopping people from killing each other and telling them that they didn't need any guns, why was a Brandon hit by a car? Why was a Brandon ever abused? Why was a Brandon ever locked up? A Brandon actually has no victims. And a Brandon was there 3 times for someone's mom. So unless the children hate their own mom, and unless the children hate me, why would the children be mad at me for being there with their mom? Why would the children be mad at me because I did not abuse or fight their mom, making her have a miscarriage and causing the children to die? I did not want the children to die. If I wanted the children to die, I just would not have ever taken Yatrell to the hospital and I would have just let him die. If I wanted the children to die, I would not have stopped Lord Gerald from, falling out the bed and I would have just let him die. If I wanted the children to die, I would have just let the girl keep drinking that alcohol at 1609 6th Street. And I wouldn't have took the bottle from her and I would have let her have a miscarriage and I would have just let Trinity die. So there's evidence of a hero and a person that did not want the children to die. Even though I did not plan for the children to ever be born in the first place. Because I only, agreed to one child, not children. That way. So I wanted these videos, to be made public so that people could see. Because I am not going to be accused of being a deadbeat dad because someone else's family wanted to treat someone else like a husband, like a lover, like a dad. And I don't know for what reason, but, it's the mess that they made. So, some people would say, he don't take care of his family. He don't take care of his children. Look at me, baby. I'm a Brandon. It was not my idea to have children. It was not my idea to have that kind of family. And that's the truth. And if the truth hurts, blame whoever it was that they got those ideas from. Because when there's a mom and a dad and children, and there's a mom side of the family and a dad side of the family, someone would have to explain whose idea was it after the first child was born to say that they wanted more children? And how was it for a Brandon? For a Brandon. How was it for me? Those situations. Because it's like in all your videos lately, you be here by yourself. How was any of this planned for you, a Brandon? I don't see the children commenting or liking your videos, and the comment section is open. I don't see the children making videos about how Brandon was the one that saved their life. I don't see the children making any videos about how nice Brandon was to their mom. I don't see the children saying, thanks, Brandon, for not beating up our mom and making her have a miscarriage when she was pregnant with us. Yatrail's mom, Yatrail. I don't see the children saying, thanks, Brandon, for not beating up our mom and making her have a miscarriage when she was pregnant with us. You know, Lord Gerald's mom, Lord Gerald. I don't see the children making videos saying, thanks, Brandon, for not beating up our mom and making her have a miscarriage when she was pregnant with us. You know, Trinity's mom, Trinity, that way. So, you know, sometimes people don't appreciate what I have done and what I have went through for all of these 38 years, and I'm almost 40 years old. The way I've been treated, I would not even trust being around those children or those people that do not respect me for what I have done. Because if they can't even speak to me and acknowledge me as the person who I am, the person that did not abuse their mom and make her have a miscarriage, you know, Trinity's mom when Trinity was born, the person that did not abuse their mom and make them have a miscarriage, you know, Lord Gerald's mom when Lord Gerald was born, the person that did not abuse their mom and make them have a miscarriage, you know, Yatrail's mom when Yatrail was born. If they don't respect their mom and they don't respect the way I treated their mom, then they don't respect me. And a disrespectful child has no inheritance or no soul tied to me. It's the way I feel. Because they haven't earned any credit. Because whose life have they saved? You know, those types of situations. So you don't have to save a person's life to be loved, of course. But you're not supposed to hate me because I have loved people enough and I have the evidence and actions to show for it. There is no excuse for the abuse before and after April 30th of 2004, you know, and all of that and all of that. When I was 14 years old, 15 years old, 16 years old, 17 years old, 18 years old, you know, all of that. And all of the verbal and mental abuse. They said, he just gonna leave. He just gonna find somebody else. He just gonna go to one of the sisters. He just gonna go to a prostitute. He just gonna end up with somebody else. He just gonna pick somebody else. I wouldn't even trust anyone else after what I've been through. You know, it's the way that I feel about it. Because there are questions that still have not been answered. You know, okay, the reason why it was more than one child when you said you only wanted one child, yeah, that part. Where are those answers? You're not finna make me look like a deadbeat. You know? So whether it was Trinity's mom and she treated somebody else like the husband, she would have to explain. Whether it was Lord Gerald's mom and she treated somebody else like the husband, she would have to explain. Whether it was Yatrail's mom and she treated somebody else like the husband, she would have to explain. Because having two husbands is a crime called bigamy, I heard. And it's against the law. And since the marriage certificate says my name and the family court says I am legally the dad, you know, there's a link in the description that says the mom would have to explain, like, and have evidence of where a Brandon has been being treated like the husband. where the child was not put first. They would have to explain, they see these videos. Have you been here with a Brandon making sure he gets enough? Have you been here with a Brandon making sure he is treated first? Have you been here with a Brandon making sure no one touches him? Have you been here with a Brandon making sure that, he has the food that he wants? When he said he doesn't want any meat, when he says he doesn't want any dairy, when he says he doesn't want any food, with eggs or milk or cheese or animal products in it. Have you been taking care of your husband? Those are the questions that people have been asking me. Because it's like, yeah, Brandon has been in the place where he uses the marriage license, a government ID. A marriage certificate is a government document and it's a form of ID. That's the way it was explained to me. Because, like when you go to those businesses in those downtown offices and they be like, okay, you need 2 forms of ID. It doesn't have to have a picture on it. That's the way they explained it to me. Because, a birth certificate is a form of ID and it doesn't have a picture on it. A marriage license is a form of ID and it doesn't have a picture on it. So when the marriage certificate and the marriage license is being used at the residence where a Brandon is, some people said, where is the wife and where is the children and where is their evidence of loving a Brandon? Because those insurance fraud scams with life insurance policies and those setups, it's like, someone did something against the law. So there was no burglary and there was no crimes of a Brandon or any of that. And the people that were involved in any of those arrests, whether it was August 9th, 2015 or any kind of break, they would have to explain what happened to saying, oh, this guy that actually saved children's life without using murder as a tactic, because I don't have any charges of murder. I was never charged with murder. I don't have any victims of any crimes. There was never even a rumor or a false report of a murder and me beating the case saying that I won, because there was never a game to win. Only the truth to tell. And you can't tell the truth if you're not telling. So I was told that, the children have the same questions. Mom, are you the same mom when a Brandon said he only wanted one child, or are you someone different from Lord Gerald? Mom, are you the same mom, or are you someone different from Trinity Johnson, from Trinity? Because he said he only wanted one child. He's not a bad person because he never did anything to anyone, so why would you disrespect him, whoever you are? And the same question from Yatrell. Mom, are you the same mom from when a Brandon said he only wanted one child? Because if he's disabled and all of this stuff going on and, he's almost 40 years old, he was at the hospital every time the children was born. He didn't go off and just find somebody else. He never pressed charges, against anyone for all of the abuse that they did to him. You can't just blame him and make him look bad if you or somebody else did something wrong. Why don't you just tell the truth about the situation instead of trying to punish and hurt a Brandon for something he didn't do? It's sad at this point. The people see a Brandon walking outside every day, struggling, going back and forth, and they like, where is his wife? Where is his family? Why did they do that to these children? Who is responsible for this situation? There's no way in the hell you can blame him because he's been in Georgia ever since 2014. He always pays his rent. Of course, he yells and screams sometimes. He's supposed to be mad. Maybe his leg hurt. Maybe he's screaming in pain and suffering. He's been accused of a whole bunch of crimes, but there was never actually a crime or a victim. He's been abused by the system over and over again. And when he tried to do right and actually be married to somebody, you know, he was disrespected his whole entire marriage. Because when a soul is nothing to play with, 3 children, when he said he only wanted 1, who listened to their mom or their dad or their sister or their brother or their cousin or some other woman or some other man or some other person outside of the household and disrespected a Brandon as the husband? They would have to explain their disrespect because a Brandon did not leave. A Brandon did not go find somebody else. A Brandon did not abuse the children. A Brandon did not accuse the children. The truth is just the truth. And what about that truth? You don't see any videos on my page where the children, you know, was saying, thanks to Brandon for not killing our mom, Trinity. Thanks to Brandon for not killing our mom, Lord Gerald. Thanks to Brandon for not killing our mom, Yatrell Johnson. Thanks to Brandon for not sitting in a king's seat and following a tradition of child sacrifice, child murder, or child sex trafficking, Brandon. Thanks, Brandon. Someone seems to, you know, have a problem telling the truth. Someone wanted me to accuse my wife, and I will not, you know. Because why would I accuse anyone when I could just tell the truth? If my wife did something, my wife can tell her own truth. If the children did something, the children can tell their own truth. And if the characters don't match, then I guess there is no attachment to me and whoever those other people are, you know? Because since I am telling my own truth about where I was and what I did, it would be their job to tell the truth about where they are and what they did and why they did it. And does it fit the description of a marriage? Was it for the husband? You know? Does it fit the idea of a Brandon's marriage? You know, does it fit? So who is the girl and the wife that can stand up in a court of law, in a state courtroom, in a federal courtroom, and in the court of God's judgment of your soul and say that what I did was for a Brandon, making sure that he had only 1 child, making sure that he had access to his wife every day in whatever way he wanted, mind, body, and soul, and that the children did not come first, and that I did not deny him of my mind, my body, and my soul, and I did not share my mind and my body and my soul with another man as a vessel for having children or any of that stuff. Who is the girl that can stand up and say that she is my wife in that way? That's the $1 million question.